Hey, what is up? Welcome to this episode of the Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brian Lofrumento, and I am so excited because we not only have one amazing guest for you today, but we have two incredible guests. Their story is amazing, and to just toot their horn a little bit, is it enough that they are two incredible mompreneurs who have been featured by Oprah, The Today Show, in Women's Health magazine, and have created an incredible brand that the more I researched it, their customers love their products. So let me introduce you to today's entrepreneurs. Their names are Lisa Watkins and Katie Hill. Lisa and Katie are two active moms with 3 kids each, in addition to their business, currently living in Connecticut. Katie worked in the fashion world in New York, and Lisa worked in tech product marketing in Silicon Valley and later in product management for a large consumer packaged goods company. And together, they're the co-founders of the WanderFull brand, where they create cleverly designed bags for women, making it easy and stylish to tote their reusable water bottle so that they can stay hydrated and reduce their carbon footprint at the same time. Style plus wellness plus the environment equals a big win. And I'm so excited because hearing about their two different backgrounds and how they complement each other and have built a truly incredible e-commerce business and product, we're all going to learn a lot from them today. So I'm not going to say anything else. Let's dive straight into my interview with Lisa Watkins and Katie Hill. All right, Katie, Lisa, I am so very excited that you're here with us today. First things first, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. How are you? Hi, we're excited to be here.
Hey, you too. I always put guests on the spot, and I'm like, how are you both going to navigate who's talking at the same time? But we'll kick things off. I'll make it easy for you at first, and I want you both to take us beyond the bio. I'll call on Katie first. So, Katie, tell us who the heck you are, how you got here, how you and Lisa crossed paths, and then Lisa, lead right into it and give us your side of the story.
So Lisa and I have known each other for over 10 years, friends first, and believe it or not, neighbors. We've met and really know each other doing a PTA fundraiser where, I might add, we killed it. And fast forward, I think we both wanted to be entrepreneurs, had this bug, and Lisa kind of got things kicked off and was like, I'm doing it. You want to join me? And I was like, absolutely. Something I've always wanted to do was be an entrepreneur. And she kind of led the way, and we've never looked back.
Yeah. But do you want to tell about your background too, Katie? Like what you did in a life?
Sure. So I was a buyer. I worked my way up at Saks Fifth Avenue. I helped launch Saks.com, BananaRepublic.com, and AnnTaylorLoft.com before taking off time to raise my kids.
And I worked in Silicon Valley as a product manager, as Brian said. I then went to business school and then worked for a large consumer packaged goods company, Unilever, doing brand management and consumer insights. I then started having children. It was very difficult to work at Unilever then because I had to travel a lot. So I ended up doing some consumer insights consulting, and then I actually fell into real estate, which I actually really enjoyed, but it really was a lot of weekends away from my kids. I didn't want to do that. So I really wanted to start my own business. I've wanted to run my own business for as long as I can remember. And I know Katie did also. So as she said, we were talking about it and decided to just go for it.
Yeah, I love that overview. I want to ask you, because you both clearly iterate how important it was for you to be entrepreneurs and to have that freedom. Of course, you're mompreneurs. You are busy as it is with personal life, let alone those professional careers that both of you were rocking it out at. But when you both say we wanted to start a business, I'm curious from your perspective, is it the business? Is it the freedom? Is it that you both knew that you had incredible products inside of you? And Lisa, I think about your background in branding. Katie, obviously you have extensive experience in the fashion and e-commerce side of the world. What about starting your own business together was so compelling?
Well, I know for myself, I always, from the time I was young, wanted to be in business for myself. So it's like everything came full circle for me because it was always on my to-do list, right? And I always said that I just needed to find the right partner. And lucky me, my right partner was like literally living right down the street and our kids were friends. And so it's just like the time was right. And the great thing about Lisa and I is that we really complement each other's skills. Me having the merchandising, fashion background, and her having the marketing and tech background was just so perfect. We really have complementary skills in every way, shape, and form. Our employees joke that she's the gas and I'm the brakes, and we always meet somewhere in the middle. So I know I'm not totally answering your question, but just giving a little insight into us. But it's just really, I think, something that we both had deep inside of us, that this desire to forge our own identities, our own brand. And it's just been an amazing partnership with everything that we both bring to the table. So
I agree with what Katie said, but for me personally, I mean, I used to joke, or my parents used to joke when I was little, that I'd run my own company someday, because I have sort of that personality, I guess. And I love to solve problems. I love to figure out, well, if I was running the company, I would do it this way. I mean, it's terrible. I'll walk into any business that's not being run efficiently, and my teenagers will roll their eyes because I'll say, why don't they do this? Why aren't they doing that? Why don't they set it up this way? And it's just, I wanted to be able to have, to build something from the ground up that I could be really proud of. And I wanted to show my kids that when you work really hard and you have good ideas, you can build and create something amazing. So, I mean, that's kind of what spurred me on, also the freedom, because it is difficult to have kids and to work at the same time, especially Katie and I, we had the majority of our career prior to COVID. There was no work from home. There was no, go in the office in the morning, go home in the afternoon. I mean, it was, as women and as mothers, it was, you're all in or nothing. So you're either at the office from 8 to 8, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., or you don't work for us. And so, that was a big part of the impetus too, that we wanted flexibility. So.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Lisa, spoken like a true entrepreneur, that you walk into other businesses and you see solutions and you see operational fixes. Katie, I want to come back to something you said. Obviously, one of the things we're already highlighting in this conversation is the complementary skill sets that you both bring. I'm going to call this out because as the podcast host of over 1,000 episodes, I know how easy it is for listeners to tune into podcast episodes and see the finished product. And especially in the case of the two of you, I know how easy it is to go to your website and see all these amazing products and see all your amazing accolades, being featured by Oprah, being featured in so many huge publications that we've all heard from. However, I know that behind the scenes, you didn't start out that way. You obviously had to work to get to where you are. Talk to us about the beginning stages of your business. What was your focus? Because you have such incredible products that your customers absolutely love. Was the product the central thing that you both focused on, or how did that evolve along the way, and how did your business evolve into what it is today?
Yeah.
Let me start. Katie, can I start with this one? And then I'll start and you jump in. So because as Katie mentioned, I was the one at the beginning that really wanted to get going. And so what I thought I wanted to do was do an Amazon FBA product, because obviously it's such a big thing now. And so, I mean, I spent a good year and a half listening to podcasts and learning everything I could about Amazon. And then when Katie decided she wanted to join me, we said, okay, we've got to come up with a product, right? And so it was really, the driver was starting the business, and then the secondary thing was the product. So now I'm going to turn it over to Katie, because she was the one that came up with the brilliant idea. So go ahead.
Well, thank you. So we were brainstorming, what do we want our product to be? And I, right out of the gate, was like, you know what, Lisa, being in fashion, I know how to spot trends. This is back in, like 2020, 2021. And everybody was walking around with a bottle in one hand, and still are, and a phone in the other hand, right? And I said, Lisa, I'm obsessed with, drinking enough water, with health and nutrition. And I also am, quite frankly, environmentally minded. So I wanted to go back into New York City. I lived there for many years and bring my water bottle, but I didn't want to have to carry it. And I said, I think that, I know that things exist out there, bags exist to hold your water bottle, but not necessarily all of your essentials with it, and they're not cute. So I said, I see the designers sending models down the runway with bags slung across them in one way or another. I said, it's only a matter of time before somebody, marries it all together and brings it to the masses, and I want to beat everyone there. I think this is what we should do. Lisa was
I was like, is anybody really going to wear a bag just for their water bottle and their phone? I mean, I don't come from fashion or, that whole world. So it was not my comfort zone. So I just thought, I don't know, I wouldn't wear it, I don't think. And anyway, so I took a 32-ounce bottle of water and I put it in my bag to go over to Katie's house to work on our ideas. And by the time I got to Katie's, my 32-ounce bottle of water had poured into my bag and drowned my laptop. So as I was pouring my bag into Katie's sink, I said, I think this is like a sign from the universe that we should definitely do it. Let's just do it. And so we did. And what we ended up doing was filling this great white space that was there, because on the one hand, you had things like a strap, from Chanel that would go around a water bottle and cost $1,500. Or there might be a bag that was purely for hiking, and that might have been on Amazon for, $10, but it wasn't something that a stylish woman would ever wear in the city or sightseeing or on vacation. It just wasn't stylish at all. So what we did is we filled this white space of a stylish water bottle bag, which we named Hydra Bag, at an affordable price, so that women could be hands-free, hydrated, and look good doing it.
Yeah,
so we basically married the form and the function, and met in the middle, which is what Lisa and I do all the time, meeting in the middle.
And the other thing was, researching, because I'm sure a lot of your entrepreneurs use like Jungle Scout or Helium 10 or whatever. We tried to research this category, and this category did not exist on Amazon. There were like bags and there were water bottles, but there weren't really water bottle bags, or if there were, it wasn't what we were envisioning at all. So the numbers didn't really seem to make sense. So I'd said to Katie, I was like, I don't know that this is a great Amazon product, but I think this is a great product to actually build a whole off Amazon brand around. And so that's what we decided to do. We decided to build a brand. And by the way, also sell it on Amazon as one of our channels, but Amazon was not central, to our plan.
Yeah, I love hearing you both talk about this, because it's so clear to me, and it's evident even in the way that you both introduce yourselves, that this isn't just about a product to you. It is about a business. It is about a brand, and that goes far bigger than just one product. Lisa, when I hear you talk about that business strategy part of your mind, and you talk about filling that white space, where my head goes is I always think about the red ocean. We always hear people talk about stay away from red oceans. That's where there's a million different products. I think about a USB drive on Amazon. We have no idea what company we're buying from. We just buy whatever's cheap and whatever has good reviews. Whereas you two are saying, let's find that blue ocean. Let's find that white space is the word that you use. Let's find that white space and fill it. I wonder how much of your go-to-market strategy or your market validation asks the question of, do people actually want this? Are they going to buy it? Obviously, there's an opportunity here, but how did you guys test that product market fit?
So that's so funny that you ask that. So I just want to say one thing, and that's like the biggest lesson, I think, for all the entrepreneurs out there, is that the Me Too products don't work, right? And finding the unique product that solves a problem or that people can't find in other places, that's 99% of your success. It's also the hardest single thing that you are going to do in terms of starting your business. Finding the right product. Like, that was so difficult in the sense that, it has to be different. It has to be something that solves a problem or people haven't seen. And we talk to so many people that want to be entrepreneurs, and we'll say, like, well, what do you want to do? And like, oh, like, I love jewelry. I want to sell jewelry. It's like, okay, but there are so many jewelry lines out there, or so many, what's different about yours? Like, does it have a special feature or a special function, or, that's really the hardest part.
And just to piggyback onto this, how did we kind of test this first? We did do a little bit of market research, early on. And then we also did some pop-up shows where we got an early read on the success of this bag. We did, 3 or 4 pop-up shows. And we actually gained a lot of consumer insights too, talking to people at these shows. And then Lisa famously said, if I'm going to stand up at this booth all day, it's going to be at the Javits. Let's go do our first.
That's because I have a permanent back injury from a car accident, and these pop-up shows, we stood there all day, and we were talking to Brian. Brian was saying how he loved the stand-up desk. I could never do that. And Katie said, this is great. Like, we should make this part of our business plan to travel around and do these pop-up shows. And that's, when I said, girl, if we're going to stand all day, it's going to be at the Javits. I'm not doing this. And we did. We took our show on the road. We went to the Javits Center and did New York Now. And it was amazing. I mean, we made our money back by noon the first day, which was incredible. And what was interesting is our booth was completely crowded and packed. And the rest of the show was pretty dead at the time. And we chalk that up to, like, we had a product that buyers hadn't seen before. It was brand new. It was different. They were so excited about it because it was unlike anything they had ever seen. But I do
doing this show for the first time and nervous because it's a big investment, right? And we just were looking to make our money back. We had done a production run of 800 units. And we were like, oh, do you think we'll sell these units? And by the end of the show, it took, working night and day for the next, few weeks to a month to source all the thousands of units extra that we had to get in time for Christmas. We had well north of 100 new wholesale customers leaving that show. So it was just, we had our validation at that point, like, all right, let's get on the rocket ship. We're ready for the ride.
We definitely did. But I have to say, coming from consumer insights and market research, I did feel uncomfortable because at a company like Unilever, I like to joke that you don't even go to the bathroom without doing market research, like, about it first. There's market research is king, and it drives every decision. And so what we ended up doing, I did write a survey. For people who want the tactical approach, I did write a market research survey. We showed images of our bag and drawings, and we asked questions about, colors and hardware colors and how likely would you be to buy, and so on and so forth. And basically did it a quick and dirty on SurveyMonkey and put it all over social media and had friends email it to their friends. And so we did get some guidance and some validation. And then, of course, we passed it around to a bunch of different friends, and we had friends wear samples and tell us, like, what did you like about it? What do you not like about it? And we were constantly tweaking and refining our product, and we still do. So we changed, like, the pocket depth. We changed, the sizing. We changed a lot of things as we heard feedback from people. And we were able to do it very inexpensively too, which was good.
Yeah, Lisa, hearing you talk about that, there's so many business decisions that you've had to make along the way. Katie, even hearing you talk about wholesalers and how many units are you going to bring to a pop-up show or a trade show, there's a million different decision points. And one of those, and I see business owners in all different industries, not just the product category, but even service-based businesses that always ask themselves, should we launch a new product or service? Should we have another revenue line? How do you two navigate that? Because at this point, obviously you have the amount of SKUs that you have, and you've got all different varieties of your product and colors and designs and all of those cool things for customers to choose from. But strategically, what does that decision-making process look like between the two of you?
I'll start this one. We do a combination of, financial planning, looking at, like, for instance, where we want to go for the year, how much do we want to grow? And then we'll, top down, okay, what are our winners and how much investment do we need to put into those? How many new SKUs do we want to do? So we really look at it like drilling down on our business. And then, there's also some of it's just gut, like, all right, we need to keep pushing forward and having new offerings, and let's try a few new SKUs and, see how those do. And then, we've learned through some things that haven't worked so well to start small, test it. And then as we have success, go deeper into those items. But
what we do
analysis.
Yeah. I mean, what we do too, though, is like we do 8 to 10 trade shows a year with retail buyers. And so what we'll do is we'll create samples, right, of ideas that we have, and we'll bring them to market, and we'll see how many orders we take on them. And we talk to customers when they're there and say, well, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I mean, the very first show that we did do, we came up with, it was actually, I mean, Katie did a lot of the new, and she still does, the new samples that we tried out. There were samples that people loved. And I remember there were a couple of SKUs that first show that we took 0 orders on. So we're like, all right, we're going to trash these. Like, we're not going to do it. But what we did do is go forward and, and order, the ones that we thought would do well or that the buyers liked. And so we use that as a testing ground as well. Sometimes though, we have to do what we think works. And I'll give you an example. In our new spring line, there were a couple of SKUs that we took to market and buyers from the stores weren't that thrilled about, but we felt really strongly like these would do very well. And so far, like, I think these particular SKUs were going to basically be bypassing the buyers of the stores and selling them directly to consumer, because I feel like the buyers might be sick of it, whereas customers are looking for it. So sometimes you just have to go with your gut as well.
Yeah, so it's definitely a mix of analysis that we do and just gut. And, let's just take a flyer, but it has to be, something that we minimize the risk. Maybe we take a flyer, but we don't go like all in, right? It's a couple hundred units or whatever to see how it does and then go from there.
Yeah, I really appreciate that message from the two of you, because I feel like increasingly we're in a world where everyone is only making decisions based on data, because AI is giving us more power than ever before to do that. But Katie, you used that term of take a flyer on something. And Lisa, you talk so much about the gut. I think that these are essential ingredients in any entrepreneurial journey. Speaking of which, I want to go here with you, because having you both on the show, I love humble bragging about your business for the two of you, because I am so amazed at what you've built, and everything that I found online is how much customers resonate and love the products. I think about my sister, for example, always has, Katie, you called it out really early, always has the water bottle, the car keys, the cell phone, never has, and she's a veterinarian, so she's always got a lot on her plate, running to the clinic, and she's got a very busy lifestyle. This is a lifestyle product that truly people feel it, whether they're moms, whether they're busy professionals. With that said, I also know that there's those moments in all of our entrepreneurial journeys where we hope that one defining moment means that we made it. I remember when I was 20, my first business was featured in the BBC, and I was like, that's it, I've made it, like everything's going to take off from here. Instead, it's an inflection point along a series of many inflection points. For the two of you, you've been featured by Oprah, you've been featured in so many top publications. What did those moments look like? And especially because they're big milestones in your business journey, what have those moments or inflection points looked like?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to lie. They're all super exciting, but getting Oprah in 2023, which by the way, was the first full year we were in business, was unbelievable. I mean, Lisa and I were just completely over the moon.
We joked about Oprah, like when we first started our business. In fact, I love to say that we built our first prototype out of paper, sitting in Katie's kitchen. And I remember saying like, okay, Oprah's favorite things, here we go. And, we would talk about Oprah's favorite things when we were first starting and had no resources, and, we're starting this business, and seeing it come full circle and actually getting on Oprah's favorite things was incredibly exciting. And I have to say, like, being an entrepreneur, as all the entrepreneurs listening know, it's really difficult. You have really bad days where you feel like you're beating your head against a wall. You have times where something doesn't go the way you thought it was going to go. And then you have great days, right? And these sort of inflection points of we made it. I mean, they are the beacons of light that drag us out of the depths of the, 18-hour work days and some of the, the losses that we have. Losses meaning things that, don't go the way we want them to. So it's a huge win and it keeps us going.
I just want to say two things adding on to what Lisa said. The whole Oprah's favorite things. Going into getting Oprah too, I remember we had just done our first trade show in August 2022, and then our second one in January, and our third one was Atlanta when we met Oprah's people, and they came to our booth for the first time. And we had a series of great things happen, in the trade show beforehand, and two things. And we were like, all right, now we just need the trifecta, Oprah. And that brings me to, Lisa and I really believe in manifesting your destiny. Not to sound cheesy, but like just putting out there what you want and really, working toward it. And it really has worked for us. As I said from the get-go, I always wanted to own my own business. And I always said, but I need the right partner. And I just feel like you put out into the universe what you're looking for. And the universe brought me Lisa. And it has been an amazing partnership. And that brings me to my second point, which is for entrepreneurs. I say this all the time. I can't imagine doing this just by myself. We're such a great yin and yang. And it's just amazing to, being able to share these incredible wins that we've had, but also somebody to pick you up when you're just like, oh my gosh, I cannot get over this hurdle. And it's like, we're both there. Like one is, doing great, super energetic. The other one's like, okay, I need some help. Then the other one comes and like picks up the slack. And it's a great partnership, very fortunate that we have each other.
We push each other and support each other, and plus, I mean, as Katie, there is so much to do that at least we're able to kind of split it in half. But each half, I mean, Katie works ridiculous hours, and so do I, and so I can't imagine being in charge of all of it. And frankly, if it were just one of us, we wouldn't have grown as quickly. I think having two of us has enabled us to really skyrocket and grow because, we could divide and conquer in our respective areas. I will say though that
pull, right? Like, so, I mean, we talk about this all the time, the push and pull. It's great to, be pushing forward, but you also need to like sometimes be reined in and find that middle ground, which, we're really infamous for doing is, one's going one way, one's going the other way. And then we find, the perfect spot in the middle or somewhere.
Yeah. Our employees sort of joke about it because they'll, be firsthand, front row sometimes to our arguments about a decision. And one of our employees loves to say like, mom and dad are fighting again. But I will say that, part of what makes us such good partners too is, and I've got to say about Katie is that, I'd known her for a very long time. We'd known each other for a very long time, and she's a really good person, and she's someone that I knew I could trust implicitly, and I do. And in many ways, we do have a marriage. I mean, obviously, we each have husbands, but we're work wives in the sense that, like, we work very closely together. We're financially, I don't want to use the word entangled. That has like a negative connotation, but we're financially tied to each other and this whole business. And like, you really have to partner with someone that you really trust, and that almost like finding a spouse in a way. It's that I think is the most difficult part of finding a good partner. And we're so fortunate and lucky to have each other that way. So,
yes, 100%. I completely agree. Lisa, that analogy of you teetering on saying, well, we both have our husbands, but we also are spouses in a way. It's so true. And I don't think most people understand that, because if you list all the things that are included in a marriage, you're talking about money. You're having very hard conversations together at times. You are going through wins together and celebrating those together. You're going through the challenging times, and you need to stick together and work through it together and remain committed and kudos to the two of you for having that balance. I think so frequently we see co-founders together who say, yeah, we always move in harmony. I love the fact that you two showed up here today and you're like, nah, sometimes we're the gas pedal, sometimes we're the brake. We always have that push and pull. And I think your chemistry is so evident for all of us to see and hear here today. So Katie, you said you don't want to be too cheesy, but this last question, cheese it up, because I always love hearing the advice that guests leave for our audience. And today we're not just getting one piece of advice, but we're getting two, obviously, because we've got two of you here. But the question that I always ask is, what's your best piece of advice for listeners? Not only are you two subject matter experts, but you're also one of us. You're also fellow entrepreneurs, and we're being listened to by both entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs at all different stages of their own growth journeys. So what's that one piece of advice that you want to leave them with today? I'll let the two of you sort out who's going first, because it's always hard to go second when it comes to giving that piece of advice.
Yeah. I mean, I
Go ahead.
I'll go first if you don't mind. Okay. So, and of course it's hard for me to leave with one. I think the first thing is to learn everything you can. We didn't know, I can't stand it when someone says, oh, well, I don't know how to do that. You can learn anything online, anything. We live in such an incredible time where all the information that you need to do anything is right there online for you, whether it's YouTube, whether it's joining a mastermind, whether it's reading, just figure out what you're missing and learn how to do it, or find someone that knows how to do it better than you do. So, that's one thing, because I know a lot of people get blocked with like, well, I don't know how to do X, just figuring it out is really, really important. And then, as I said before, finding a product that's different. But then the third thing is get ready to fail, because you are going to fail, whether it's one of your SKUs or, a few SKUs. I mean, I think probably 15% of the SKUs that we've put out have been dogs, right? And that's okay, because we have 85%. We have probably, I would say 40% that knock it out of the park. I would say, 30 to 40% that do well. And then the bottom 15, 20% have been complete dogs, but that's okay. You just have to win more than you lose, if that makes sense. And you're never going to be perfect. So that's another thing that I like to say is like, perfection is the enemy of progress. Stop waiting for something to be perfect and stop trying to make it perfect. Go for the B+, because then you're actually going to get stuff done. And you have to do something every day that's going to push you forward in your business. So,
wow, I had so many things I was thinking about, but I've kind of lost them. But I would say, first of all, like Nike says, just do it. I'm just thankful that, I really had somebody to push me and, to do what I've always wanted to do. And if you're creative and hardworking and, when you're doing something, take small steps first to, like I said, test and dip your toe in the water. And with each win, you get a little bit stronger and a little bit more knowledgeable, and you just keep trying new things. I mean, that's the great thing about our business is we're doing so many things that we, did not originally set out to do or think we would do. But once you're kind of in the mix, you learn, you meet people that, well, why don't you try this? Or why don't you do that? And you know what? You try it and some will work and great. And you move forward with those and other things won't. But there's just so many opportunities out there. But, if you just take the plunge and, do it, you're never going to know. And, that's my biggest thing is just get off the sidelines and do it.
Yes, I love that advice from both of you. I will just interject from the outside looking in that you two are the epitome of what it means to be an entrepreneur. The fact that you're busy moms, you both have 3 kids each. I have no idea how you balance it. Lisa, you've alluded to all the work hours that you're both putting into, and obviously your big ambitious growth goals that you both have been hitting and you're continuing to grow. And it's so exciting for me to see incredible entrepreneurs like you who are also so generous and sharing your experiences and your perspectives perspectives. I knew that time would fly by with both of you, and you've so delivered on all of those strategic, tactical mindset pieces of advice and insights along the way. So I'm super appreciative of that. I also know that listeners are going to want to actually see your product. The three of us talking about it is one thing, but going to your website, seeing your stuff in action is a whole nother way. And listeners, before I kick it back to Lisa and Katie to drop that link on you, I want to say that success leaves clues. If you want to see why they've both built such a successful brand and so many amazing products and such a successful business, success leaves clues. You want to go to their website, see the way that they're optimizing for e-commerce conversion, see the way that they've built that brand and have those happy customers around the world. So definitely check out their website. On that note, ladies, I'm going to kick it back to you. Drop those links on us. Where should listeners go from here?
So they can go to our website is WanderFullBrand.com, and we spell WanderFull WANDERFULL brand.com, like you're wandering around full of hydration and energy. And then our social media links, Instagram is WanderFull Brand, and our Facebook is WanderFull Brand Accessories. And our TikTok is also at WanderFull Brand. We don't do too much on TikTok, which we need to do more. But you can look at our Instagram too. Yes. Probably the best place, yeah.
And listeners, you already know the drill. We're making it as easy as possible for you to find all of those links down below in the show notes, no matter where it is that you're tuning into today's episode. Otherwise, Lisa, Katie, on behalf of myself and all the listeners worldwide, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. That was great.